Hey folks, Ken here. So today is Finding Paradise's first anniversary, and I thought I'd make a short spoiler-filled video about its ending and what Colin's wish was. So I've heard many people saying it was that Colin wanted to see Faye again, which he did, but it wasn't actually the wish exactly. Rather, it was an implication of it. Given Faye's nature, if Colin just wanted to see her again, he could have just brought her back. But in the last conversation they had, where Faye said that if they ever meet again at the end of his life, she's certain that he'd have lived a happy and fulfilling life. But when the time came, he didn't feel that way, and he didn't have the face to talk with her like that. So in the foundation, his true wish really was to simply be happy and satisfied with his life. That's where Sigmund Corp comes in, not just to solve the problem, but also to create it in the first place. The U-shape of happiness versus age graph is a fairly well-documented phenomenon about how we're happiest at the two ends of the spectrum, but dip in the middle. There are many theories and explanations behind it, and one of the more interesting ones is how well it matches up with another one of our psychological phenomenon, the impact of reversible decisions. More specifically, how simply being able to change our selections make us less satisfied with the choices we made. As we start out in life, we don't tend to be bogged down with the sense of our future and past, and are mostly just living in the immediate present. But as we go on, we're faced with making more and more decisions about the course of our lives without a clear feedback of whether they were the best choices. And at our lowest point, it's where we feel like we're at our last chance to make any major changes to the trajectory of our lives. Eventually, we get past that point and can only accept the outcome and be content with it. In a more relatable example, this is also similar to the mindset of taking an exam in school. Here we have the months before an exam, a day before exam, on the day of the exam, and after the exam is handed in. After we're past the point of no return and our fate is sealed, we tend to come to peace with ourselves, no matter what choices we had made. That is, until we see a commercial about a company called Sigmund Corp, undoing the natural process of coming to terms with our lives and bringing one back into the valley of mental struggle. In the last montage of Finding Paradise, those nice memories of Colin's weren't fabricated by Sigmund's machine, but were things that actually happened in his life that he simply didn't think about while being preoccupied with what could be's. The only thing that was changed was the removal of Sigmund Corp, which allowed him to shift his focus back to the actual life he's had. For some people with extraordinary circumstances like Johnny from To the Moon, there is value in Sigmund Corp's service, as it provides a sense of closure and peace in a unique situation that is meaningful to them, even if just for a brief moment. But for some others, especially like Colin, who's been lost in his own version of Sigmund Corp when he was younger, it comes down to one simple concept: that when we cannot change anything, it's easier for us to be happy with what we have because it's our only option. And when we can change literally everything, it's infinitely more difficult to be satisfied with anything. Recently, I've read some narrative complaints about how insignificant and petty some of Colin's regrets are compared to Johnny's. But that's kind of the point. In our lives, we get stuck on things that feel so important at the time, only to look back at them at the end of our lives and realize just how silly they were. It's a bit of a cruel joke that while we can kind of understand this concept in a textbook kind of way, it's almost impossible to truly feel it in our bones until we get there. Anyhow, thank you for listening to me ramble, and thank you for supporting the games. There will be more one day.